there is a place for authority. There is a place for communicating everything that you do, but don't just show up and throw up in your marketing. You have to really build that connection first.
Chad, great to have you on the show.
Sure, glad to be here.
So remind me, where are you based out of?
So I live in Amish country, Pennsylvania, Lancaster. And your second follow-up question, no, I'm not Amish, because that's typically what we get.
So if I remember correctly, you take Route 30 dead west.
It is, Route 30 is right through Lancaster County. You got it.
I've driven through that godforsaken area of the country. As a matter of fact, the Mexican has a dog that was breeded out there. I think it's an inbred.
It is known for the puppy mills.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure
I'm
your
sure
dog...
he got it from a legit breeder.
It has 3 eyes. It's a sweet dog, though. It's Elsa. She's great.
The dog is Amish.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. The owner's Mexican. So your consulting business focuses on helping landscape businesses develop leadership. Give me the details on this.
Yeah, so the name sounds a little cryptic, Landscape Leadership. And actually, as the organization was founded back in 2010, it was something very different than what it is now.
Okay.
So this kind of dates us. So Chris Heiler, the founder, started this thing that was a paid message board. You know, that's how it was, that time frame in there. He had went to school for landscape design and had his own company doing that. And there was no online communities like LinkedIn and those sorts of things where you could exchange professional advice with people in your niche. And so he created this thing. It was a subscription site, and he passionately loved content marketing and social media. So 2010, people weren't doing that. So they were turning to him. They were saying, "How can you help me?" And long story short, a couple years later, it turned into a marketing and digital sales agency that only specializes in the lawn and landscape industry. So that was Chris's track. And now, taking you back a little bit, in '98, I started, just like a lot of people in this industry, where I just needed a job to pay the bills to support my family. So I started in the field working and did that for a number of years. Then I started acting as an account manager, which I really enjoyed, selling the work consultatively to homeowners and some business owners. And then I took over the marketing at the $13 million company that I worked for. And so in that time frame, Chris and I became professionally associated. And I loved marketing, and I talked to him. And long story short, I came to work at Landscape Leadership in 2016, and now I run the organization there.
In the landscape firm that you worked for out in Amish country?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did like a 4-county radius area there. So yeah, I say Amish country, but there's suburbia.
Is that like York, PA, stuff like that?
We did go to York County. Yeah, you know your Pennsylvania geography.
Unfortunately,
really well.
Unfortunately, I do. Okay, and so we have a mutual friend, Christian. You guys, I guess he's a client of yours, no?
Yeah, he's a client of ours. We work with. We're a little different from a marketing agency perspective. We don't want to dominate the world and have a gazillion clients. So we try to make sure we have really quality people like Christian, really great organizations. So Christian, he's been working with us, I think, 5-6 years now, and we've become actually really good friends. So that's how I got down here this afternoon to talk to you. So really awesome guy. So we work with like 20 to 25 clients. We go deep with very few clients instead of going shallow with a whole bunch of 100, 200 clients. So that's what we're all about.
So then how active would you be, if you're focused on 25 clients, you're clearly going extremely deep. So how active are you with any particular client as far as allocating your time and resources?
Yeah, for me, my role has really changed. I started in the organization as an account manager. And so I was doing a lot of the project management, campaign-driven things. But I'm a creative person, and I like to find problems and fix them and think of new ways to do things. And so the progression has been moving me out of account management, so I still help them with the high strategy and high-level creative. And then the rest of our team are brilliant at being able to take those tasks and develop those relationships and be really responsive and in touch a lot with the business owners.
What have you seen changed from a marketing perspective in the industry over the last 5 years or so?
I don't think a whole lot has changed in the last 5 years, but maybe 10, definitely. I think that this industry in some areas is very innovative, and in other areas they lag behind other industries. So marketing is one of those things that as a rule, our industry is kind of lagged behind and followed and been late adopters. But I'm seeing. I remember when I remember the argument and the point we were trying to impress on people 10 years ago was you need to have a website that showcases these things. So the bar has gone up. People are starting to accept that. And I would also say the entry point for most companies now, they're not, most of them, at least the ones that are here, this level company, they're not just creating a one-page virtual brochure website. They understand that it has to provide something more important and more impactful for the people that are coming to it, whether that's a job recruit or a prospective client. So I just feel like the bar has gone up. The understanding, when I remember when Chris used to do these Planet webinars with this organization when it was called Planet, and he was talking about these new things like content marketing. And now it's great to know that all these things that we were trying to impress now are becoming more common knowledge.
Now, you talked about in some areas the industry is advanced, and some areas it lags behind. What are some things that you're seeing out there that folks are still getting wrong?
Well, I think it all comes down to, what is the point? What is the point of marketing? And what is the main goal? I mean, the main goal is connection and deep connection and meaningful impact in someone's life. So the one thing that, I'm seeing progression and I'm seeing people get better, but companies are showcasing their services and external solutions instead of really focusing first and foremost and most of their recipe on what is their prospective client's real deep problem and how does that make them feel. And in my own personal life, I'm learning that there are layers to me as a human, and I often operate in this logic and the surface things and making decisions and doing whatever. But what I've experienced personally is that why do I do certain things? Why do I feel certain things about one matter or another? And what is really driving that? And I think there's a common human experience that just really connects people. We all really want the same things when you get way down to the core of it. And so the one thing that I just really hope that, and I always talk about this in my social posts and content that we write, that the industry really starts to embrace and understand is that your message is not about you, it is about your customer. And it's not here, it's not even here, it's way down here. And you have to do a really good job empathizing with what their aspiration is or what their pain is. And when you can do that, it's really connective. And people realize on a subconscious level that you truly do get what's important to them instead of saying, we're the number one this in this area. That's not what you lead with. You lead with, I know your problem, and this is how it makes you feel. And this actually impacts me a little bit too as a brand or us as a team. And then there is a place for authority. There is a place for communicating everything that you do. But don't just show up and throw up in your marketing. You have to really build that connection first.
I think you're going somewhere on the emotional connection. So how can you get deeper into that? Can we talk a little bit about an example of what that problem is? Your typical clients, what sort of problems are their potential customers experiencing? Because I know, everyone likes to say, we're the number one landscaper, we're the number one lawn care, we got this many employees, we got this many awards. The customers don't give a shit. Like, they got an issue and they want it solved. And they want to know if you're the right person. So let's talk about that.
Well, we could do this for any different segment. So if you want to talk about commercial landscape management,
Yep.
There's a property manager, facility manager there, and they are pulled in so many different directions. The last thing that they want to have to do is babysit their contractors, or they have an inherent distrust that people are going to follow through on what they do. recognizing in whether it's your marketing copy, whether it's the images on your website, whether it's how you construct a video script or the questions you ask to the people on camera, you have to lead with giving weight to their problem and understanding that first before you jump in and say, we're here to save the day. There's a famous marketing book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It's a story brand messaging framework. And one of the key points in it is your brand's not the hero. You're not the hero. And a lot of marketing messaging I'm still seeing, in the industry is, who's the hero here? Like take a back seat, take a little bit of humble pie and just let them shine, let them do, let them succeed, and then just showcase that.
So I guess you're spending a lot of time at your firm in actually crafting that message, identifying what the problems are, identifying the capabilities of the client and how there's alignment there.
Yeah, we do that, and I like to do it collaboratively. And it's a stretch. It's a stretch for some business owners and higher level management when you're asking them, how does this problem make your customers feel? It's hard. You're like, angry. Like we often go to we have three emotions. We're like angry, hungry, tired, or whatever. But there's so much impact in the word choices that you use. Or the actual visual pictures you paint in video and showing either aspiration or pain and that sort of thing. So I love to involve clients if they allow me and if they engage, and we have them watch a number of videos to work through that process and brainstorm. You try to pull those messaging core elements together, and I'm always bringing it back to them because the reversion back to what everyone's doing is strong. They'll be like, hey, we just won this award. Can we put this at the top of our homepage? Well, no. You shouldn't do that. There's a place for it. Celebrate the hell out of it with your team. But there's no reason that you need to throw that plaque in someone's face. Instead, show somebody that looks like them or have a story that they're telling about how they actually won, and you're just kind of behind them in the background.
You talk about story brand, but how do you use customer story actually in your marketing?
Well, I love video. We've produced hundreds of videos for clients, anything from recruiting videos to marketing videos, explainer videos, all that stuff. And I love case studies. Those to me are the ones that I feel like are the most connecting. And so the amount of screen time and voice time that your team actually has in your videos related to how much the client actually is talking in there. So if you can find a really enthusiastic client, and if you know how to ask engaging questions and follow-up questions, you can get really, really powerful statements. And even the nonverbals that they give, just the body language, and them, you ask them, describe to me, what was life like before you started working with this company? Walk me through a given day. And they start opening up and telling stories instead of saying, what do they do here for you in the property? That's up here.
Yeah.
So when you can position your client telling your brand's story and singing your brand's praises, it has so much more deep, authentic impact than if you're trying to do it yourself. Because people, it's advertising. They're like, I don't believe that, or I believe a percentage of that or whatever. And so that's why, one of the things I practice what I preach. So one of the things that I share constantly on social media is examples of how our clients are doing something, and I praise them for what they're doing, and I thank them for allowing us to be involved. That's what all the brands in this industry need to do too. I recognize that, they probably wouldn't be where they are in their strategy unless I was involved, but I wouldn't have been able to get them there if they weren't a willing participant. So I want to make them the hero in the story, not our agency. And that is what establishes brands as an authentic leader in their market. So that is connective, and that will bring great team members. People want to be involved with that because it's something way bigger than you just trying to make more revenue and get more customers.
Well, how important is video now in 2024, and how many folks are actually out there using it in the industry?
Well, it's catching on. It's getting better. I mean, the barrier of entry is so much lower now. I mean, anyone with a smartphone and you get a gimbal and a good Bluetooth microphone can produce a fairly good quality video. There's still a lot that goes into, like driving a good story and having good hooks and doing that sort of thing. But it's great. So more and more companies are creating that content, but it still comes back to how do you tell a story? How do you message something? How do you hook somebody? Does my viewer, am I really relating with what really matters to them? And do that. So video is getting huge because, it's been a trend for the last 10 years where people, they hate reading and they want to watch. And so there's all kinds of places that you can use video, whether it's that full length testimonial video, client story, or you cut it up in little pieces and share it to social, whatever you want to do with it. So video is big, and especially now, we're going to start to get to a point where we're going to start to distrust written content and think that AI created it. So video
and video as well at some point, right?
Well, yeah. Hopefully, it's a little bit farther behind, but that's why you keep saying on camera and don't over edit and over polish your video too, because I think that's going to be a place where brands can really differentiate what they're doing and show way more personality. And I think consumers are going to start to distrust a lot of written content because they might feel like there was really no one at the helm when this was created, and it was just kind of regurgitated and spit out that way. So video is a great way to connect, show personality, and have a way bigger impact than you can with a lot of other marketing stuff. So it's going to get bigger and bigger.
It's fascinating stuff, and you've had some great insights today. I appreciate you joining me, Chad.
Sure. Thanks so much.
Thank you.